Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Today we focus on the small business sector and a big conference that the sector will host next month, July 19 to the 21st at the Hilton Rose Hall. The president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, Mr. Hugh Johnson, is our guest today, and he'll be telling us about this conference, as well as about the significant role that the MSME sector is playing in Jamaica. We thank you so much for your company. Mr. Johnson, good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
There is a first ever Caribbean MSME conference next month. Tell us about that and the genesis of that idea.
It has been some time now that we as a people have been toying with CARICOM, and our forefathers, they instituted CARICOM for the business people of the region, for us to do business among ourselves. But it's just not happening the way
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
It was envisaged.
Right. So, you know, the leaders of the regional countries, they know each other by first name. The larger business, they have the wherewithal to get around and to do business, but not the small players. And we have been promoting for the last 50, 60 years a trickle-down approach, but there's a blockage. It's not working. We are proposing for it to go the other way, the bottom-up approach. So out of that idea concept, we think that it's high time for the small players in the region to get to know each other, to come together and to forge a path for ourselves along with the regional governments to get business among ourselves booming and going. Because how could you expect me to compete with the great businessmen of China and I'm not able to compete against my peers? You know, the saying goes, you dance a yard before you go abroad. That's a concept here. And out of this conference, we'll be able to have the small business operators from around the region coming together, knowing each other, doing business among ourselves, and also to establish a position paper to the regional governments as it relates to what is needed to get us moving and doing business among ourselves in the region.
So the conference will tackle two main areas, or
three main areas. Three main areas.
Front.
One
is the
networking. Right, the networking, B2B. Two is an expose of, I need to get a suit, a fine suit. The first thing for us to do is to look to the north for it. Who says a man in Grenada can't produce a fine suit that I would love?
Doesn't have to be an Italian suit.
Oh, correct. I need to know that and to engage these persons to do business among ourselves, to provide a better business environment. Because if we should spend our dollars among ourselves, we'll realize that we'll be better off for it. Because reading a document some time ago, about 8 years ago, it shows that the regional import from North is over 8 billion US annually.
Extra regional imports.
Right.
Yes.
And small players in this space have those material, those goods and services that could fill that gap.
A lot of that.
And for that reason, I must share with you another experience I had in Grenada some years ago, where we were at this hotel and they were serving dinner, and they apologized to us for not being able to supply us vegetables on the dinner. And you know the reason for that? There was a weather in the area and the ship couldn't come for 2 weeks.
From Florida.
I'm saying, look on this. We as Jamaican, our farmers in St. Elizabeth have been suffering for a lack of market of their product, and we are looking to the north for everything that is possible or we could ever need. these are some of the challenges.
So you want to bring the small business people together, let them become acquainted with one another, let them become acquainted with the goods and services which they can supply
from among
themselves. And the other important track you want to run on is to come up with a policy position so that the governments in the region will know what they need to do to facilitate the growth of the MSME.
Because as a practitioner in my own right, my private enterprise, I do organic fertilizer, and it's sold in Grenada. Yeah. May I share with you that the transportation cost of the product to Grenada exceeds the unit cost of the product?
Yes.
Those issues are salient points that we need to address as a regional governments to facilitate this movement among ourselves.
Are you hoping to have any of the regional prime ministers at that conference?
Yes, so far I believe that we'll be having 3 prime ministers and 4 or 5 ministers of commerce from around the region, and also senior directorate in those ministries will be in attendance at this conference.
People from CARICOM, the CARICOM Secretariat.
Yes, they will be.
Would also be there. We're talking about an important conference coming up, being hosted by our own Small Business Association of Jamaica, an initiative out of Jamaica, out of the SBAJ, and that conference comes up on July 19. Will run between July 19 and July 21st at the Hilton Rose Hall. So small business people, this is a conference for you. You'll get to meet others of your peers at that conference. You'll be able to make important links and create the important network. We have more to tell you when we come back from this break.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Welcome back. Hugh Johnson is the president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, and the SBAJ will be putting on a major conference next month at the Hilton Rose Hall between July 19 and July 21st. And that conference will look at some critical areas to do with the small business sector, hoping to chart a way forward so the small business sector in the region, more particularly Jamaica, can play the kind of role and live up to the potential that it has. What will be some of the areas that the conference will deal with? Because you will have various sessions at the conference.
Well, we'll be devising 3 tracks. One to look on policies, the other to look on trade among ourselves, and the third is finance. Okay. Those 3 tracks will be dealt with simultaneously in breakout sessions, and if you go on the SBAJ website, the conference website, you'll be able to see.
You can go on the SBAJ website.
Correct.
And they can get
lead you
details
of
the
further
conference
detail
and of the
the
sessions.
conference. Correct.
That's already available.
Yeah.
Yes. And financial institutions will be there also.
Yes, I must share with you that SBAJ, when we conceptualized this program, we went to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, MICAF, and we have immediate buy-in.
Yes.
They are supporting us. They are partners.
In fact, the minister has already launched the conference.
Correct.
Minister
Correct.
Sabuda.
Jamaica National has come on board as the title sponsor.
Jamaica National is, yeah.
Caribbean Development Bank has come on board with a sizable grant to us to facilitate movements around the region. Caribbean Airline is on board supporting this program and enabling us to the success, to be successful. So it has total buy-in from the wide cross-section of
sections.
Right, and in fear of leaving out any.
Yes, yes, you're not exhausted.
Because we have DBJ, which is on board with grant to us to facilitate this.
Yes. So you're getting the support. People are liking the idea, Hugh Johnson.
If I may share with you that regional persons are more enthusiastic about this, because the term that uses is God-sent, is God-given.
People are saying this was long overdue.
And that is why
the region needed this.
And that is why we have the commitment of 3 prime ministers as well already to be there.
Yes, and our own prime minister
will be there.
Will be giving a keynote address.
Correct.
Yes.
And I must share with you that Prime Minister Woolness, in his wisdom, he had appointed me to the CARICOM Review Commission.
Oh, you were on that commission?
I was a commissioner on that commission.
Which has completed its report.
We have completed the work, and we have submitted the report to the government. And out of that, it has borne out the greater need for such an event.
Okay. So you, having been a member of that important Golden Commission on the Caribbean
Review,
would have had
by
Bruce Golden, former Prime Minister, you would have had a lot of material at your disposal, a lot of information about CARICOM, about what is happening in the region. That should have
too much
enriched. That would have enriched you.
And it has strengthened my resolve.
That we need to get people to get together.
Because, as you would have read, the thought process behind that coming together of those leaders years back to form this, it strengthened my resolve to push even further.
Yes.
And for that reason, we have decided through the committee to have, for at least for the first 3 years, conference of this nature. Well, after that, we might go to biennial, but for now, we want to. The great Newton law of motion says the greatest force is to begin.
Yes.
So in starting up, we want to get that momentum going and stir that interest
yearly
for the first
3 years.
And sponsors even courting us for
the next year.
Not next year, 5-year contract.
Is that so?
5 year.
That's no hype. That's a fact.
And I must share with you that we have signed contract for 3 years with entities to sponsor and be partner with us in this endeavor.
And you told me off here that you're going to be announcing the dates for the next conference when you had this conference next month.
At the end of the conference, the 22nd, the 21st of July.
You have tied up dates for next year already.
Yeah.
So people see that this is an idea whose time has come, Mr. Johnson.
Correct. And we have partners like ICA, Inter-American Corporation on Agriculture.
Right. Yes.
Partners like CAFAN, the Farmers Network from around the Caribbean. We have partners like the Caribbean Women Producers Network, Rural Women Producers Network, CASME, Caribbean Association of Small and Medium Enterprise. It is overwhelming as it relates to their involvement and their participation, and they're anxious to see it come to fruition.
What would be your word to the people from the MSME sector who are watching us now? What would be your encouragement to them to come to this conference? Speak to them. Why do they need to come to this conference?
We are in business to make money. If it were for pretty looks, I wouldn't be here. So this will enable you to do better business for your enterprise. So together, each achieve more. There are markets out there. You might not have individually that level of resources to do that marketing promo. We are giving you that opportunity. So buy it up and come to the conference. Meet the people who will cause that to happen. Because we are looking on trading, financing, and policy, as I've said earlier. One of our greatest challenges around the region is the low level of lending that takes place. You can't propel an economy in a meaningful way when there's no facility to facilitate your endeavor. So we are looking on creative ways, and as a part of that, I must tell you that Stock Exchange, Jamaica Stock Exchange, is on board as a partner too. JBDC, JAMPRO.
Okay. So the government entities, government is giving us a lot of support finally. Government is supporting.
Yes, they are. They are. They are supporting us tremendously. And they are a partner.
A partner.
And as I'm not sure if you know, but we have done it just a couple of months ago. We have signed an MOU, SBAJ, with the Stock Exchange, because a part of this forward thrust is to get at least 30 of our small and medium enterprise up to competitiveness, our international competitiveness. And we see utilizing the expertise of the Stock Exchange and even up to IPO as a part of that to get them to scale up and to move forward. Because we all know it, there is a capacity issue as it relates to the MSME sector. You get an order, you can only do the first 2 containers, and after that, your customer is frustrated with you because they have established a market and unable to supply.
So this is a conference where you hope to provide answers to these issues.
Correct. Correct.
Deal with the challenges that have traditionally faced the small business sector.
And that is why it is for 3 days, intensive 3 days in Montego Bay with regional players.
And you're encouraging small business people to come out.
Come on board, get on board if you want to do well.
For their benefit. President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, Hugh Johnson, telling us about the MSME conference coming up next month, July 19 to the 21st at the Hilton Rose Hall Hotel. Keep tuned to us here on Issues and Answers. We give you the information that is useful. Next week I'll be back. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant day.